Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Skinny Confidential, Him and Her Show. Today, we are joined by Hal Elrod. He is the man behind The Miracle Morning, the book in front of me right now. Many of you may be aware of his book. It has sold over 2 million copies and now has an expanded edition that we're going to talk about on this podcast. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Hal, he has created a movement and transformed millions of lives around the world. Hal's story is unlike anything you've heard, from being clinically dead for 6 minutes after a car crash to defying cancer, to creating one of the most powerful morning routines of our time. Today, we're diving into his journey, his tools for resilience, and how you can create a life you're obsessed with on your terms with one of the strongest morning routines out there. With that, Hal, welcome to the Skinny Confidential, Him and Her Show.
How did you wake up this morning? How does the king of mornings wake up?
I wake up without an alarm now.
Okay.
Usually between 4:30 and 5-ish.
Wow.
Give or take. And then I did my miracle morning. So meditation and prayer and affirmations and visualization and little exercise, some reading, some journaling, all in like an hour before, sometimes 30 minutes, depending on the day. If I don't have, I like a full hour and taking it slow. But on days where I'm just pressed for time, I'll do a 30-minute version and kind of customize it,
So is a 30-minute version of what you just said, 5-minute blocks for each one?
Yeah, it's very flexible. My first miracle morning ever, I'm an all or nothing person.
Okay.
So 2008, the economy's crashing. I'm failing. My house is being foreclosed on. And I'm depressed and I'm scared. I don't know what to do. And I call a buddy of mine and he says, I want you to listen to this Jim Rohn audio. I'm like, no, dude, how do I make money? I need to, I'm struggling. And he said, no, listen to this Jim Rohn audio. It'll change your mindset. It changed my mindset. And I'm like, all right, fine. So I listened to it. And Jim Rohn says, your level of success, which I attribute to in every area of life, not just professional, but your level of health and, marriage success, you name it, will rarely exceed your level of personal development. And so I had this epiphany that, okay, if I want, on a scale of 1 to 10, if I want to have a level 10 life, level 10 happiness and health and relationships, I need to become the level 10 version of myself through daily personal development. And so I created this, I was like, I'm going to create this morning routine. I'm not a morning person, but I'm going to start my day with the 6 most timeless, proven practices. And it took a while to research what those were. And then that became the first miracle morning. So the first day it was, I'm going to do 60 minutes and there's 6 practices. So I'll just divvy them up, 10 minutes each. Then over time, I'm like, I want to read longer. I don't need to visualize for 10 minutes. I can visualize for 5 minutes. I want to read for 20. When I exercise a lot. So and it customizes it day by day. Some days I'm like, I need more exercise today or whatever.
How has your life changed since you started taking control of your mornings?
I mean, that's that I could just answer that for the rest of the episode. But so the reason it's called the Miracle Morning, this was not a book idea. It wasn't called the Miracle Morning on day one. I started doing this practice again. So 2008, economy is tanking, Great Recession. I'm physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially at the lowest point in my life, literally.
What were you doing as a profession at that point?
So I had just hit Hall of Fame with Cutco, sales. I was in sales. And then
the knives.
The knives.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'd done that from age 19 to 25. And then I left Cutco and I was like, what am I qualified to do? I want to be an entrepreneur. So I want to do my own. And I want to write a book because when I was 20, I barely survived a head-on collision with a drunk driver where I was found dead at the scene. I broke 11 bones. And we can unpack that more if you want. But so ever since that happened, I was like, there's a reason. There has to be a reason. I'm supposed to share this story of how I overcame this with other people. So I'd planted the seed, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to write a book. I want to be a speaker. But to answer your question specifically, I was making money as a coach. I was like, well, I've done really well in sales. So I'm going to become a coach and coach other salespeople. So when the economy crashed in 2008, in 6 months, I lost over half of my income, half my clients, because everybody else their sales are down. They can't afford to pay their coach, right? So, and what happened is I started doing this morning routine. And within 2 months of doing it, and I was after day one, I'm like, and Lauren, you've done the Miracle Morning.
Yep.
It's so much, like you said, when you don't do it, I think you use the word discombobulated or something. When you don't do it, you're like, I am not in a peak state like I am when I do my Miracle Morning. So I do the morning routine for 2 months and we double our income. At the height of the Great Recession, we double our income. And I can get into tactically what book did I read? How did I do the math with the Miracle Morning? But I remember the day I signed on 2 coaching clients and I can picture my wife coming out of our bedroom. She's got a basket of laundry. I said, sweetheart, we just signed on 2 more coaching clients. She just goes, good, great. That's good news. We need some money. I said, no, you don't understand. That second coaching client officially puts us at more than double our income where we were 2 months ago when I started the morning routine. I go, it's a miracle. It is, I can tell you specifically how it's because of the morning routine. And she goes, it's your miracle morning. Like without skipping a beat. And I go, I like miracle morning. So I start teaching to my coaching clients, and they went from like, I'm not a morning person to, okay, I'll give it a try, to wow, Hal, oh my gosh, it works. And that's when the light bulb went off, when I went, if this worked for me and I wasn't a morning person, for all my coaching clients and they weren't morning people, like this could work for the world. And that's when I was like, I have to write a book.
You said something really smart. People are like, oh, if you don't do your morning routine, you're going to freak out. It's not that. If I don't do my morning routine, I'm not in my peak state.
Yeah.
And for me to do what I do in the most efficient way, I have to be in a peak state with clarity. So that's exactly what it is to me. It's not like I'm going to spiral and freak out.
Sure.
It's just not the best version of me.
Yes.
And I've never been able to articulate it like that, but you're so right. And I'm a believer is you're really only as good as your systems.
Yeah.
And if your systems are off in the morning and you're throwing yourself into the day and being so reactive to what everyone else wants, it makes it really difficult to be your best.
Yeah. Well, no, I agree. I think that I was asked probably a year ago, which I've been doing the Miracle Morning since 2000. I think I started 2007, 8. So we're looking at 2007 or 2008. So it's 17 years now. And I was asked, why do you still do the Miracle Morning, Hal? Like when you created it, it's because you were in a really bad place and then it changed your life. Well, you're not in that place anymore. Like, why do you still do it? And it was actually like a head scratcher. I go, that's a really interesting question. And the two answers are the big picture and then the day to day, which is the big picture is human potential is limitless. Right. It's not like you turn a certain age and you're like, well, I can't learn anything or grow or improve in any way. I've hit the ceiling. So that to me is like, I'm always striving to fulfill my God-given potential, which is limitless. But then in the day-to-day, to your point, Lauren, is that it's like when I do the Miracle Morning, I'm putting myself in a peak physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual state. So to me, it's like my kids deserve the dad I am when I do my Miracle Morning and I meditate and I do my affirmations that remind me who I'm committed to being as their father. And I read a book on being a better dad, right? And then I can take all of that energy and momentum and clarity into like, now I get to show up at my best for them.
I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to be like a student of your life. And I think that all starts with the morning. So I'm such a fan of you and your book. I know that you did talk about this earlier and you've talked about it in your book. Tell us what happened with the drunk driver and why that has been so impactful in your life.
Yeah. So I was 20. I had been selling Cutco for a year and a half, and I gave a speech at a Cutco conference and got a standing ovation, which was like a really cool first ever standing ovation for me. I'm like on cloud 9. So this is how like the night starts. And then I got to dinner, and then I'm driving home, and my car was hit head on by a drunk driver at 70 miles per hour.
Whoa.
And then my car spun off the drunk driver, and the car behind me that was tailing, I don't know, a few car lengths behind, my car spun in front of them, and they crashed into my driver's side door at 70 miles an hour roughly. And so the entire left side of my body, I broke my leg in half. I broke my pelvis in 3 places. I broke my arm in 2 pieces, shattered my elbow.
So that scar there?
Yeah, you can see how my elbow's just... Yeah. So I actually have, I've got a metal rod in this arm, 2 screws in this elbow, 3 metal plates in this eye, and a 14-inch metal rod in my, to hold the femur together. And Whoa. I was immediately, the car was crushed over me. And thank God I was in a coma. Immediately, I think that's the body's protective mechanism. Yep. Okay, I'm going to put you in a coma because you can't handle what you're going through right now. But it took them an hour to use the jaws of life to cut the car off of me. And when they did, I bled to death. So I'd lost over so much blood over the hour while I was trapped in the car that I bled out and my heart stopped. And they immediately rushed me onto a medevac helicopter and hooked up to defibrillator, IV, and roughly 6 minutes without a heartbeat. And then they brought me back to life, airlifted me to the hospital, and I spent 6 days in a coma, underwent lots of surgeries, had all those metal rods put in, and came out of the coma to be told I would never walk again and that I had permanent brain damage. And at 20 years old, I'm processing how am I going to, to face this.
Did you have were you married at the time? Support system? Anybody?
No. So I had a girlfriend who was in the car and she was unscathed. She had a sprained shoulder. So all the impact, the head-on collision was on my side, the side, the what do they call that? T-bone, right? Was on my side. And so she was okay. And we broke up in the hospital. That's like a whole nother story. It was a very stressful time for everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think we were already kind of on, we were 6 months in a relationship and kind of on thin ice or whatever. But so I had learned something in my Cutco sales training a year and a half prior that enabled me to handle this so well that the doctors thought I was delusional. And it's called the 5-minute rule. And I think this is for anybody listening. I still, to this day, I use this all the time. And I learned this in sales training where when something goes wrong and you face adversity, challenges, disappointment, failure, anything that causes you to be upset, I was taught to literally set your timer for 5 minutes and you give yourself 5 minutes to fully feel your emotions. Like, don't suppress, don't think, what am I supposed, how do we put on a happy face? No, angry, sad, whatever it is, feel it fully. But after the 5-minute timer goes off, you say 3 very liberating words, which are can't change it. And it's this acknowledgement, I can't change what happened. Now I got a choice. Am I going to keep being upset and wasting my energy that doesn't change anything? Or do I accept my reality exactly as it is and focus on what I can control? So I learned that to deal with like no sales and canceled orders and, no shows. But I had practiced it for a year and a half, even in traffic. I'm like, can't change it. No point in being upset. So when I came out of the coma and I'm going, oh my God, I'm never going to walk again. I'm in a wheelchair the rest of my life. Like, what does this mean? I've got scars, I'm broken bones, permanent brain damage. And within a few days, I don't remember the exact moment, but I remembered the 5-minute rule. And I was like, wait a minute. Does this apply to this like radical adversity that I'm facing? And I'm like, it does. I can't change that I was in a car accident. And if I'm in a wheelchair the rest of my life, I can't change it at that point. So the only choice I have is to be totally at peace with all of this and to choose to be the happiest, most grateful I've ever been while I endured the most difficult time in my life. And the doctors thought I was in denial because of they're like, Hal's always smiling and happy and joking. This can't be real. And I'm like, no, it is real, because what's the alternative? I'm miserable. I can't change the car accident, but I'm choosing to make the best of it.
This is like really weird, but I think when you send positive, good energy to your cells and it heals. Like, I'm very like into Louise Hay.
Yes.
And I listen to her meditations in the morning and at night. And if you're constantly stressed, your cells feel that.
Yep.
Whereas if you send healing energy to your cells, I know this sounds crazy and woo-woo, I heal way quicker when I send healing. I don't even know how to explain it.
Well, let me be living proof.
Okay.
So so my mindset, the way this unfolded, my dad came in, so 2 weeks after the crash, 1 week after I come out of the coma, right? So I'm literally a week after the coma. I mean, I'm still, my arms up in a sling. They just inserted all the metal rods in my leg. So I'm not in great shape. And the doctors called my parents in to tell them that they thought I was in denial and delusional, and that my mom and dad needed to come talk to me and get Hal to admit how he's really feeling so we can talk about it in therapy and he can start actually healing instead of, checking out of reality. And so my dad came in, he explained the doctor's concerns. I said, Dad, the doctors are wrong. They're actually like 180 degrees off on my mindset.
Agreed.
I'm not in delusion. I'm totally at peace with this because this is it. I said, and I've decided I'm imagining if I'm in a wheelchair the rest of my life, I'm totally at peace with it. I'll be the happiest, most grateful person you've ever seen in a wheelchair because I'm in a wheelchair either way. Why would I let it ruin me? I said, but here's the thing. I don't believe that's the only option at this point. Like, no one knows what's possible. The doctors don't know what miracles or what healing's possible. I said, so I am maintaining unwavering faith that I'm going to walk again while I accept that I might not. So I said, every day I am praying that I'm going to walk again. And to your point, I'm visualizing my body healing. I'm seeing myself walking again. I'm meditating in like every fiber of my being was totally at peace and faithful that I would walk again. And my dad went back and told the doctors. They thought I was more delusional, I think, than when they originally died. They're like, oh, he's really out of there. But a week later, they came in with routine x-rays and they're like, Hal, we don't know how to explain this, but your body has healed so rapidly we're going to let you take your first step today in therapy. So 3 weeks after my leg broke in half, my arm, and I was found dead 3 weeks later, and I have a picture of this. Thankfully, my dad took a picture. I'm taking my first step and, the rest is kind of history. But to your point, I completely believe that. And I applied it later, which we can talk about this, but I was diagnosed with cancer, same mindset. I'm like, I'm going to heal this cancer with my mind and my, et cetera. So
No, but it makes a
Your
ton of
cells are listening.
Totally.
it makes a ton of sense to me because you have these people that sometimes something will happen in the past and they spend their whole life talking about that past event and how terrible it was and why because of that event they can't do anything, or the circumstances of the way they were raised means that they can't grow in a certain way or that they behave in a certain way. And like unfortunately a lot of those people are held so far back in life because that's the focus.
Yeah.
Where if you don't focus that way and you start to think, that happened but can't change it, then you can spend all of your energy and your mind share on ways you can be better in the future.
Yeah.
Like it makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
Of course, if you focus on things that you can't change, it's going to take energy or whatever, mind share, whatever you call it, on something that is useless to think about anyway.
I also think if you're just focused on the stress, it's raising your cortisol, which is making inflammation worse. It actually makes scientific sense.
Scientific sense, exactly.
It really does. And I think anyone can try this at home. I had a sinus infection the other day and I meditated for an hour. Michael thought I was going to have to go to the hospital. I thought I was going to have to be put on antibiotics. And I just literally just sent healing to my cells, healing meditation.
It is true.
And I woke up the next morning and I asked Michael, it was gone.
It is true. We called the doctor. Doctor said he needed an antibiotic, and she did heal it on her own with no antibiotic. And the swelling, right when she started doing that, the swelling went down within 48 hours.
Yeah. So I just think listen, I'm just saying your mind has a lot of power over your body.
Totally. And which is proved because stress causes disease. So if stress causes disease, right? And if you focusing on things that cause you stress and raise your cortisol levels, and there's chemical reactions that are detrimental to your physical health, then the opposite would also be true. Yeah.
So tell us about how you used this later when you were diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah. So I was 37 years old when I was diagnosed with cancer. So 20 when I had the car accident, and then 37 when I was diagnosed with cancer. And I woke up one night struggling to breathe. I spent the next 11 days in and out of the ER getting my lung drained of fluid. Like every other day, they drained 1 liter to 2 liters of fluid from my lung, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then finally, they diagnosed me with this really rare, aggressive, like fast-acting form of leukemia. So it's blood cancer called acute lymphoblastic leukemia. And so my wife and I, they're like, hey, go to MD Anderson Hospital. We live here in Austin. They said, go to MD Anderson Hospital in Houston, 3 hours away. They invented the therapy, the chemotherapy for this particular cancer. So they're the most experts in this field. So we go there. And it turns out not only was my lung filling with fluid, my heart was on the verge of failing. I had to go and do an emergency procedure where they had to inject this needle just outside my heart. And I had to sign a release saying that if they went like an eighth of an inch too far, it would puncture my heart. I'd go into cardiac arrest. So it was a very delicate procedure that they didn't do very often. And I had to sign a waiver saying that they couldn't be held liable, and they had to drain this fluid. And then also my kidneys were failing. And so the doctor said, Hal, you have this cancer has a 30% survival rate. So if you can imagine, right, I've got a 4-year-old son at the time. My daughter is 7. My heart's failing, my kidneys are failing, my lungs are failing. And they're telling me that your best chance, if you start chemo, is 30% survival. And if you don't, they said you have 1 week to live, maybe 2.
What is that from?
This cancer shuts your organs down. So basically they said in 1 week, your heart will stop, your kidneys will stop.
What do they think it's from, though?
No, they have no idea. And so for me, I'm about personal responsibility. So I'm like, what's everything I put in my body that wasn't natural? Adderall when I was in my 20s, I'm like, what's all the things I put in that may have diet, lack of sleep, stress, all the things, right? But the chemo regimen, because the cancer is so aggressive, it's the most aggressive chemo regimen. Maybe, I don't know if there's anything more aggressive. So like some cancers, you get like 1 hour infusions once a week. I would get 100 consecutive hours of chemotherapy over the course of 5 days, every 3 weeks for 8 months. So it was 800 hours of chemo in 8 months. And so they're like, and it has a 30% survival rate. So they're like, and most people die, right? Not even the cancer. Cause like once they start the chemo, it kills the cancer, then they die of the chemo. So I'm like, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. So I told the doctor, I said, first of all, I asked him, I wanted to test how much I could trust him. I said, what part does diet play in this healing? He said, it doesn't matter as long as you do chemo. I'm like, oh man, well, can't really trust you that you think it doesn't matter. So I said, give me 24 hours to do a little bit of research. He said, okay, but I wouldn't take longer. Like you're in it right now. Your organs are failing. He said, so let me know tomorrow. We should start chemo tomorrow at the latest. And so my wife is, like she's freaking out, of course. And so I go home and I research who are the best holistic oncologists in the country. And I found two. And one of them happened to be in Houston. I'm like, oh, this is meant to be. Like, he lives here in Houston. It's supposed to be this way. Plus, he's Polish. And my wife's like, it's really meant to be because she's Polish. And so I call him and he says, Hal, there's nothing any holistic doctor can do for you at this stage that you have to do chemotherapy. So I'm like, if the best holistic oncologist in America, I mean, there's documentaries made about this guy. If he's telling me like, you have to do chemo, and he goes, now I can support you like during and after the chemo, I can help you detox and stuff, but your chemo is the only option. So I started chemo the next day, and I told my wife. She was naturally terrified. And I said, sweetheart, I know you're hyper focused on this statistic of 30%. And you're going, okay, there's a 70% chance my husband is going to die. I said, I look at it differently. The 30% statistic is based on all human beings that get this cancer, including those that eat terrible diets, those that don't take care of themselves, those that live in fear, those that have no faith, those that, right? Like, so I'm going to do everything to beat this cancer that is humanly possible, not just chemo, but I will relentlessly research and implement every holistic protocol known to man. And I said, here's the way I see it. There's a 100% chance that I will be among the 30% of those that beat this cancer because I'll do everything they did and a lot more.
And you told your mind that, and you committed your mind to that. And so your mind, I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Well, and then my miracle morning became all 6 of those practices went from being on, business and parenting and No, all 6 were focused on beating cancer. That's it.
It's a really interesting way to look at statistics in that way when you're talking about it, where you're right. A lot of these statistics, especially as it relates to health, are based off of a pool that in many cases are either already sick to begin with or unhealthy or not doing the things or unwilling to do many things that you did.
Yeah.
I think if you look at it from that perspective, then it takes a poor statistic and it makes it, it sounds like in your case, empowering in a way. Because you're like, these people, there is the ability to beat. I mean, if they were saying it's 1 out of 100, that might be a little different. But
how did you implement the miracle morning when you were going through this?
So one thing, so right away, I miracle morning is something I do every day, right? So it's like I didn't really stop doing it; I just kept doing it. And then I was like, all right, I'm looking at my goals and I'm going, none of these. I would read my goals every morning as part of my affirmations. I'm going, none of these matter if I'm dead. So I'm like, let's set these aside. And the first thing I did, which goes back to like 2008 when I doubled my income, the first thing I did was buy a book on how to get more clients, right? Because like the SAVERS acronym, for those that like to catch everybody up, the Miracle Morning is made up of this acronym known as SAVERS, or the Life Savers for long, but it's SAVERS. S for silence, that's your prayer, meditation, deep breathing, contemplation. A for affirmations, which we can unpack because it's very different than the goofy way that most people think of affirmations. V for visualization. E for exercise. R for reading. And the final S in SAVERS is for scribing, which is a fancy word for writing. So the reading portion, immediately I went on Amazon and I looked at what are natural ways to beat cancer. My favorite book, by the way, of all the books I read is called Chris Beat Cancer.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's his website, by the way, chrisbeatcancer.com. In fact, he didn't have the book initially. It was just the website, and then the book came out. But he was like my go-to, because what he did is he beat cancer holistically when doctors said he would die. He's very religious, and he was like, God, he's like, I felt God, my body's designed to heal. I'm going to heal. And then he dedicated his life to interviewing people that had beaten cancer naturally, interviewing doctors, all of that. So I got a book on reading, or a book first and foremost was the first thing I ordered. And then my affirmations are like the anchor of my miracle morning. They're the most important part. And affirmations are mistaught, I believe. So like usually when you hear that word, you kind of roll your eyes, like affirmations, what are some goofy, like feel good statements? 2 problems with the way they're normally taught. Number 1 is we're taught to lie to ourselves. Like, if you're struggling financially, you're taught to affirm, I am wealthy, right? I am wealthy. But like, that's not based in reality, and you're just deluding yourself into something that you don't actually believe. Second problem with affirmations is we're taught to use this flowery, passive language that promises a result, almost magical, independent of any effort. So like you might have heard the affirmation, I am a money magnet. money flows to me
I was
effortlessly.
just going to say, I say money flows to me effortlessly. That's wrong. I say that all the time. I say money grows on trees for me.
I'm going to say
said
this.
that since I was little.
You're doing okay, so
Okay,
it might work.
I'm getting to see.
But here's to me, this is the fallacy in that.
Okay.
It's also different if you're already on like a money trajectory, right?
Okay.
But here's the fallacy in that, is that imagine someone is struggling financially, right?
Okay.
Like, okay, I've got no money in my account, and they're looking at their bank account on their phone in the morning, and they're like, oh my God, I'm overdrawn again. No. So if they have an affirmation that says, I'm a money magnet, money flows to me effortlessly and in abundance. What that does is it gives them a temporary sense of relief, like, oh, thank God, money is going to flow to me effortlessly. But I bet if I actually interviewed you, Lauren, which I should have on my podcast, right? I bet you didn't effortlessly create money. Like, y'all put forth effort.
There's strategy.
There's strategy.
So you got to back up the affirmation with the strategy.
So here's my formula for affirmations.
Okay.
And these are rooted in truth. They are practical. They are actionable. There's also a little faith mixed in. So 3 steps. And anybody that's listening, like, write these down. Step 1, affirm what you're committed to. So I am committed to this was my affirmation. I'm committed to beating cancer and living to be 100 plus years old alongside Ursula and the kids.
Okay.
No matter what, there's no other option. And to be honest, there were moments of fear, especially when you're sick, you don't feel good, your mindset goes with your physical body. Well, when I was on chemo, 100 hours in, I'm like, I want to die. This is terrible. And how am I going to live through that? Not to mention, I went from 167 pounds to 127 pounds in 3 weeks.
Wow.
I lost 40 pounds in 3 weeks. And every hair on my body. So I looked like a sickly cancer patient, right? And so, you're looking in the mirror, you're like, I look like I'm dying. And then you're like, right. And then you're going, okay, wait, I have a 30% survival rate. No wonder the chemo's killing me. So so many thoughts. And so I would have fear of like, what if I die? What if I do everything right and I still die? What does that mean for my kids? So fear would seep in, and then it would start to grow. And so my affirmations were the anchor where I would lift them up and I would go, fear does not serve me. Fear is going to kill me. And I'd replace the fear with the faith of that first statement. I am committed to beating cancer and living to be 100 years old alongside Ursula and the kids. No matter what, there is no other option. And I would say it over and I've said it thousands of times till eventually that became my reality. It's like, I'm like, people go, are you afraid you're going to die? I'm like, no, that's not even an option anymore. Like, I'm fully committed to living. That's the only option. And so it gradually, day by day by day, reprograms your subconscious mind and directs your conscious thoughts to the outcome that you're committed to.
So you say, let's use money as an example since we were using
I love that.
So you'd say, I'm committed to, I'm just making this up. I'm committed to making this much money for my family.
No matter what.
No matter what.
There's no other option.
And there's no other option.
Step 2. That's exactly, so what you said is exactly right. Very different from, I'm a money magnet and money's going to show up magically so I can just feel okay that everything's going to be fine by itself. I told Michael
that there's money on trees outside the house.
I might be the fucking tree, Lauren.
Michael, dude, I just listened to your podcast, right? And you're talking about how Lauren runs the design parts of the business.
I'm
and Michael runs the finances and the operations.
I don't want to discredit her because she plays this, but she's much more savvy than she's coming. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
But
I'll play it. I'm fine.
Yeah. But I also know Lauren does, think in abundance and all that, but she's also one of the hardest workers. Like when we work, and the reason we're good as a couple together, and we don't talk about this a lot, is I know when it's go time, we need to hustle, we need to work. Like she's been with me, through these long hours and travel and kids, and when she needs to work, she fucking works. And so it didn't just fall into the lap. You know what I mean? It's been a hustle.
Yeah, and so if you realize, right, you are committed to the results that you guys create together, both of you.
Okay.
Right? You're not sitting back waiting. And so there's nothing wrong. Think of it this way. It's a yes and. It's not an either or, meaning you've been affirming, I'm a money magnet, money flows to me, and then you work your ass off. Yeah. Great.
So what's the second part of the affirmation?
The second part of the second step in the formula is, so step 1 is affirm what you're committed to.
Okay.
And the formula is, I'm committed to blank, no matter what, there's no other option. And by the way, the commitment, that blank could be an outcome, but it could also be an activity. Like you could say, I'm committed to losing 20 pounds no matter what, there's another option. And then that drives you to do whatever it takes. Or you could say, well, what does it take to lose 20 pounds? I got to run 20 minutes a day. So you can say, I'm committed to run 20 minutes a day, no matter what, there's no other option. So you can really affirm the outcome. I like the outcome usually because step 3 kind of brings in the activity, but step 2 is affirm why it's a must for you.
Okay.
This is where Simon Sinek made his whole career off of the power of why.
We like him a lot.
Yeah, I love Simon. So when I affirmed that I was committed to beating cancer, if all you do is affirm the outcome, let's say, for example, go back to the money example. I am committed to being a millionaire, right? If you're not clear on why that is a must for you, like why is it so important that you're willing to do whatever it takes? Because it's just, you're like, well, being a millionaire would be cool, right? Like if you're not clear on the like, no, why is it a must for you? So I had 5 reasons. And I encourage people that are doing this, have 3 to 5 bullet points that are such crucial, non-negotiable reasons for you. So number 1, I am committed to beating cancer for my wife, Ursula, because I promised her forever and a day. That's part of our wedding vows, right? So it has like a deep meaning for me. Like I promised her forever and a day. Number 2. So this is step 2. Second reason, I'm committed to beating cancer for Sophia and Halston, my 2 kids, because they need their daddy's love, guidance, and leadership. And I'm committed to watching them grow up. And number 3, I'm committed to beating cancer for my mom and dad because they already lost a child. My baby sister died when I was younger. And
Man, you've been through it.
And my parents have been through it. I think as a parent now, it's like, oh, they've actually been through it worse. I've been through it, but they've been through it. So I said my affirmation said they've already lost one child and do not deserve to lose another. Number 4, I'm committed to beating cancer for myself because damn it, I deserve to live a long, happy, healthy life as much as any other person on this planet. And number 5, last but not least, I'm committed to beating cancer for the millions of people who are themselves battling cancer or some other disease and may not have the knowledge and resources that I've been blessed with. And it's my responsibility to get through this so I can help them through their journey. So those 5 reasons, and the reason I didn't just say make reasons, like I want to give you real life examples. When I felt like giving up, which there were days where I was so sick, I was so fatigued, I just didn't want to do it anymore. Those 5 reasons and those affirmations are what kept me going day after day after day. If all I would have read is, I'm committed to beating cancer for Ursula and the kids, that might have kept me going, but it's like, it was the 5 reasons. It's like, oh yeah, I'm doing it for her. I'm doing it for them. I'm doing it for my mom and dad. I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for humanity. Let's go. I can't not do it. I have to do it. And those are the reasons why.
Yeah, it's funny. Like perfect example. Like obviously we talk about health on this show and we take it seriously. And there was a moment where we've lacked on it, and especially right before we had kids. And like one of the main reasons that I wanted to personally get in shape is like I want to be able to pick up my children for as long as possible. And so like when I'm in there and I'm working out, I'm not thinking like, oh, do I have a 6-pack?
Yes.
I'm thinking like I want to be able to do all of that without struggling, and like whenever they, if they're 7 years old, I hope maybe by then they're going to doing their own thing, but you can do it without, like, that was like a driving
Well, then it's
force.
grandkids. You want to be in shape to pick your grandkids.
Yeah.
What was it like when you were given, the news that you were cancer free? Was that incredible, or did you predict it?
Yeah, well, and it's actually, you can watch it in the movie. So the Miracle Morning documentary. Have you seen that yet?
No.
I know Michael hasn't seen it.
We're going to watch it. Where can you watch it?
So you can watch it. You can watch it free on YouTube.
Okay.
Or you can go to miraclemorning.com, find it there. Or you can rent it on Amazon Prime if you want to pay the $5 and have it in your Amazon Prime library. You can like buy or rent it there. But so we were making the documentary. A friend of mine, Nick Conadera, is a filmmaker, and he was like bugging me for 6 months. Got to make a documentary. Because he's in the Miracle Morning community Facebook group. And he goes, the stories in there are crazy, Hal. People are like overcoming depression, although legally I can't say it does that, but overcoming depression, they're losing weight. They're he goes, we have to share these people's stories, and we should share your story of how you're like traveling the world trying to spread this Miracle Morning message. And I kept saying, no. And then finally one day I was like, let's do it. You're right. Let's do it. So we start making the movie, and it's like, we're, I think, about 2 years in, and Mel Robbins is in the movie, Brendan Burchard, Robin Sharma, Lewis Howes. There's all these like world-renowned, experts talking about their morning routines. And so we're making this awesome movie, and then I'm diagnosed with cancer. And I called Nick. I said, Nick, I'm actually in the hospital. I go, hey, I'm in the hospital. I have to start chemo tomorrow. I have this crazy cancer. It's not looking good, and movie's on hold. And we talk for, a little while. He's a friend. And he said, Hal, I hope you don't take this the wrong way. I don't think we should put the movie on hold. This is the movie. Like, this is your story and the Miracle Morning story. And this is the movie now. I was like, let me talk to Ursula. We weren't planning on filming this? And thank God I said yes, because like when you're watching the Miracle Morning documentary, the first hour is the original plan for the movie. And then it's a selfie video of me recording for like friends, family, whoever, going, hey guys, I'm in the hospital. They can't figure out what's wrong with me. And then the last 30 minutes of the movie, you're watching me battle cancer and fight for my life. And then you watch, when you're watching it, like if you didn't know that I made it, you literally, none of us knew. I mean, I had faith, but nobody knew, like, is Hal going to live to the end of like the movie? And then you actually watch in the movie, I'm ringing this bell at MD Anderson. It's the day that they gave me the official, you're cancer-free diagnosis.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, that was a great moment. It was a great feeling, but the journey wasn't over in terms of I still had to do chemo for 2 more years, minimum was what the doctors had me on. And it went from being 100 hours a month to 1 hour a month.
For those that are ignorant about chemo, what does it do? And what does it, I mean, not what does it do? What does it make you feel like as you're like, does it just drain all of your energy? Does it make you sick? Does it make you feel?
So it's poison, essentially. It's medicine / poison. And real quick, I'll answer that question first by just quoting one of my nurses. She goes, Hal, let me be frank with you. She's like, I've been I forgot what the name of the nurse is, but it's a cancer nurse, for 20 years. And she said, chemotherapy is killing the cancer and it's killing you simultaneously. And the goal is that it kills the cancer before it kills you. And then you have a chance to live your life and rebuild your body to the best of your ability. Like that's how she described it, being very frank. But yeah, it's killing the cancer cells, but it's also killing your bone marrow. It's completely wiping out your immune system. I mean, the cancer journey, it was the most horrific thing. So once they injected chemo, it was supposed to go in my spine and they accidentally hit my nerve. And I had 11 days of the most horrific migraines that morphine didn't help. Nothing helped except for cannabis, which is a whole nother story. That was the only thing that actually helped it. And I didn't find that out till 11 days in. But so yeah, it's killing the cancer, but it's killing your brain cells. It's killing everything. So I had 700 hours or 800 hours of everything being destroyed. And for me, like someone who's like really into health, right? You could imagine that. Imagine you're like, it's killing me right now. It's all that I've worked so hard to like thrive in my health. It's all being just taken, away.
But do you think because you were so focused on your health before, you had obviously maybe a better chance of doing it, or do you not think it would have made a difference?
No. Well, here's what I think it was. So yes, so youth, health, all of that, right? Like, if someone gets cancer when they're 70, it's harder their body to rebound than when I was 37. Being the fact that I was pretty healthy ahead of time, and I say pretty healthy because I thought I was healthy, but when after the cancer, I'm like, wait, let me examine everything. I'm like, wait, I have 1 beer after work every night. That's not healthy. Like, yes, I eat an organic diet and I eat grass-fed beef, but I also, at that time, I was taking Adderall. It was I was like back on Adderall. So I was like, there's a lot of little things I do that thinking I'm healthy is not actually healthy. But the point is,
did you change like all your cleaning supplies and like everything that was in your house?
To me, now it's impeccable health. Like before, it was healthier than most people was how I justified. I'm healthier than like 95% of society. Now it's impeccable health, which is nothing goes in my body that isn't from the earth, first of all, right? But I really want to answer your question, Michael, is that it was all of the holistic practices that I did in conjunction with chemotherapy. I believe that's why I'm alive today.
Yeah.
So for example, the doctor, I'm like, how do I detox my, so I Googled like, what are the negative side effects of chemotherapy that cause people to die? And it was like liver toxicity, so basically toxicity. So I asked my doctor, how do I detoxify? He's like, oh, we have a pharmaceutical drug that will help you detox. I'm like, so I had to go all on my own. And so coffee enemas are, according to Chris beat cancer.com, of all the doctors he has interviewed, he is convinced that is the most effective natural protocol to prevent cancer because it detoxifies, it pulls all the toxins that build up in your cells and can make your cells become cancerous.
I heard you feel like really good after that.
Oh, it's amazing. I still do it. I've been doing it for the last 9 years.
You do it here in Austin?
I do it in my house.
No, you do. People do it alone in their house.
Yeah. You can go. I've gone to facilities, but no. And it's actually, I love it. The first few are very awkward. You're like, oh, this is. And for those that don't know, like I don't want to get graphic, but you're putting 32 ounces of coffee up your butt, and then you're holding it for 12 minutes. And the first time it's super awkward, but now it's like the most. It's one of my favorite parts of the week. It's
but then do you just go to the bathroom after?
Yeah, then you go sit on the toilet. And you get rid of all that.
It makes sense though. It's getting all the toxins like that are getting stuck to your colon and all that stuff. It's getting literally the shit out.
Yeah, all of it. And it's but what it's also doing, and don't, I'm so non-scientific. I never remember the details of things, but it's going up. And first of all, you don't get caffeinated. It doesn't have the same effects where you feel like you just drank a bunch of coffee. You don't feel caffeinated at all. But it's going up, and I'm trying to think of what part of your body it's going, but it's basically it causes bile production where like it detoxes you extremely very quickly, and like to your point, it's pulling everything off of the walls of your colon.
It makes sense. I'm just it's like sticking something up my ass. I just feel like
it's tiny. Does
it hurt?
No, not at all.
I've done a colonic.
Okay.
I
think it's similar to that.
Okay,
but it's
is it different than that or similar?
I haven't done a colonic in so long. I can't remember the size of the tube and stuff. But Ben Greenfield.
Okay. So it's not like a giant garden hose.
No, it's a tiny little skinny tip.
For some reason, I was picturing.
We can try it tonight. I'll try some different things.
I was picturing like a big, like one of those big construction tubes.
Yeah, no, it's really tiny.
You make a beer bong with.
Yeah, it's like it's tiny. Comes to a point. It's very small. But Ben Greenfield, I believe it was an article that he wrote. This was 10 years ago. But I think his article was one of my favorites on like teaching you why to do it, how to do it. And you go to Amazon, Google, or get a stainless steel coffee enema kit.
Okay.
And then get organic coffee enema coffee. And I think any organic coffee will work, right? But so I did, just to get clear, that was only one of dozens of things I did. I took 70 supplements a day.
Whoa.
I did Ozone Sauna. I actually bought an Ozone sauna for my house. It's a sauna, so it opens up your pores, and then it puts ozone. It hooks up to an oxygen tank. And again, I can't remember all the details of, right? I learned something and then I forget all the whys of all the details. But so it's a sauna, and then it also puts ozone into your cells while they are open, into your pores while they are open from the heat of the sauna.
Does it look like a barrel sauna and then there's an ozone machine in it?
It looks like the one I use. It's called a Hocket. And it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain what it even looks like, but you actually get in it and like the two doors open, you sit on a shelf, and then you close the doors and it goes all the way up to your neck. And you're completely enclosed. And then the oxygen machine is hooked up with like tubes that are going into the sauna. And it has infrared. It has infrared lights inside of it. So I did red light therapy.
So this may be good for people to do even just regardless as a recovery protocol.
I saw a meme the other day from I can't remember the doctor's name that I follow, but he said, I eat like I have cancer so that I never get cancer. And like Chris Wark, who wrote the book Chris Beat Cancer, he says coffee enemas are, he believes, the most, and this is from him interviewing, hundreds of doctors, the most effective way to not to get rid of cancer, but he said to prevent cancer.
It makes sense because it's clearing you out, especially with all the colon cancer and everything. Like it really does make sense.
Yeah.
But also to your point, even like if you just kept going down that rabbit hole.
I just did everything.
The cleaner you eat and the more natural you eat, the less chance you have of having bad stuff in you to begin with.
What were the other things that you did?
So, I was talking to someone about this today. It was throwing the kitchen sink at it, first of all. People go, well, so what worked and what didn't? I'm like, I have no idea what worked and what didn't because I did everything simultaneously. Yeah. And it was just like a risk reward. Like, okay, are there any side effects of, vitamin C? No. Okay, great. I'll take that, right? Okay. Are coffee enemas, any negative effects? No, they seem to be totally safe. Okay, great. I'll do those, right? So it was like ozone sauna. Is that safe? Yes. So it's like all these natural holistic practices, they're just building your immune system, detoxifying your body. And so and biohacking is a very popular term. Back then, I don't even know if it was a term. It was probably just early phases. But I realized I just biohacked the heck out of my cancer. Like everything that I did would be considered a biohack. It was these natural ways of building the body up to enhance its ability to function and in an optimal way.
I'm going to introduce you to a bread. It's called Hero Bread. It has 0 grams of sugar. Okay. It is low net carb, which we love. And it's really a dream. So they have bagels, they have tortillas, and it's really fluffy too. So it doesn't taste like you're compromising. They even have baked goods. So they have bread, buns, tortillas, bagels, all the things that we all love. They just launched Hero Noodles even. So there's more protein in the noodles and 60% fewer calories than best-selling noodles. So they really thought of everything when it comes to carbs. Basically, what they've done is they've allowed you to enjoy all your bready favorites guilt-free. And I'm very much about this because I am on a journey to lose 30 pounds and I still want to eat the bread. My favorite one is probably the bagel because I'll do like cream cheese, I'll do a wild salmon lox, I'll add some really crunchy purple onions on top, a slice of Roma tomato, and some capers and lemon, and it is so good. Like I'm telling you, it is absolutely delicious. And these bagels have 17 to 19 grams of protein. So not only am I getting the protein from the wild lox, I'm also getting it from the bagel. And it's just like a guilt-free bagel. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use code SKINNY at checkout. That's skinny at hero.co. Let me introduce you to Dream. I'm so excited to share something that's made a real difference in my life. Beam's Dream Powder. Okay, here's the deal. Beam is a healthy nighttime blend packed with science-backed ingredients showed to improve sleep so you can wake up refreshed and feel ready to take on the day. Whether that's tackling a day full of meetings or planning out your next big idea. Dream, it's made with a powerful blend of all natural ingredients. So reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. And what's cool about Beam is Beam has already improved over 17.5 million nights of sleep, helping people across the country to wake up and feel their best. Essentially, it's designed to help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep, and wake up feeling amazing. And unlike other sleep aids, there's a no next day grogginess, just great restful sleep. It tastes incredible. You can make it a part of your nighttime routine, especially if you feel like you can't sleep easy. I would recommend trying Beam's Dream Powder, turning on a red light book light or a red light and getting into bed. Maybe you put on some 528 hertz music and you're good to go. Here's the bottom line. Better sleep equals better business, and Beam is giving our listeners their best offer yet of up to 40% off. Try their best-selling Dream Powder and get up to 40% off for a limited time. Go to shopbeam.com/skinny and use code skinny at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/skinny and use code skinny for up to 40% off. Outwork the competition after you outrest them. Try Beam today. This episode is brought to you by Opill, the first over-the-counter daily birth control pill available in the U.S. Opill is a daily birth control pill that is FDA approved and full prescription strength. It's a progesterone-only pill, meaning it does not contain estrogen. Progesterone-only pills like Opill have been FDA approved to prevent pregnancy for over 50 years. But now with Opill, the way you are able to access daily birth control pills is completely in your hands. I know this would have been so amazing for me when I was in college to get access to birth control so easily. There's like an ease to it that we just never had when I was taking birth control every single day. I also think it's just an incredible achievement in reproductive health to have daily birth control pills on your terms. There's no prescription or doctor's appointments needed, and you can find Opill online and at most major retailers. Opill is birth control in your control, and you can use code SKINNY for 25% off your first month of Opill at opill.com. That's skinny at OPILL.com. Check out Opill to see if it's right for you. Have you ever gone to a doctor's appointment feeling like you got nothing useful? I know I have. Sometimes I'll go to the doctor wanting some kind of answer and you'll just get like, you're fine, or drink more water. There's not a lot of real data. So let me tell you about Superpower. Superpower sends a licensed professional to your home, or you can visit a nearby lab. It's one simple blood draw with over 100 biomarkers. So this is going to give you the data that you want, okay? It's way more than what you get usually at a doctor's appointment, without doing that test. They have an app that gives you detailed information on your heart, your liver, thyroid, hormones, metabolism, vitamin and mineral levels. I did a test like this after I had my first baby, and I found a ton of information about my hormones that was super helpful for me to get out of the postpartum depression fog. So you get supplement suggestions, you get nutritional guidance, you get lifestyle and behavior adjustments. This is really awesome. So instead of following a bunch of people's advice on social media, you actually get tangible, actionable health tips for your own health and supplement suggestions based on your blood work. Superpower used to cost $499, but right now it's just $199 for the full experience. Know your numbers with Superpower. Head to superpower.com to learn more and lock in the special $199 price while it lasts. After you sign up, they'll ask how you heard about them. Please make sure to mention this podcast to support the show. Your biology decoded, your blueprint activated with Superpower. So even when the cancer was gone, you still had to do chemotherapy for an hour a month.
Oh yeah, thank you. So they're finishing that story. So I'm doing not only chemo, they had me on all these pharmaceuticals, prednisone, and it's crazy. I went from being all natural, not wanting to do any pharmaceuticals or any chemo, to like it just you get into the system, and then they're like, "Well, just take this." You're like, "Okay, I'm already," and then all of a sudden, before you know it, it's this slippery slope
of protocol.
Yeah, and then now I'm like, I'm taking so much. So in 2020. It was the lowest point in my life. It started in November 2019. I was hosting a live event, and the night before the first night, and this was our 6th year. I wasn't nervous. Like, it was like, I loved it. But for whatever reason, the night before the event, I went to sleep at 9 p.m. And at 11 p.m. in the hotel in San Diego, I woke up flooded with like adrenaline or cortisol. I wasn't measuring it. I don't know what it was. It was just like I was wired with this weird buzzing stress. And that began 6 months of sleeping 2 to 4 hours per night.
Oh my God.
And if you ever slept one night, 2 to 4 hours, you're a mess the next day. Months into it, I was suicidal.
Yeah,
I was hallucinating. I thought people were trying to kill me. My brain did not work. I had never had anxiety my whole life. I had the most debilitating anxiety where if a friend called, I would start shaking before I'd answer the phone. It was crazy. And I was contemplating if I didn't have kids and parents, like too many people, but like every morning I would literally have these conversations with myself where I'd go, I was sleeping in the guest room, first of all, because if my wife would come to bed and wake me up, the whole thing, I was a mess. So I'm sleeping by myself. Our marriage is falling apart because I'm not the man she married. I'm a mess. And every day I'm literally, my brain is thinking, I'm like, how could I kill myself and not have it negatively affect the kids? Is there a way? Like, that's the problem I was solving for.
Wow.
And so I'm like, and I remember I'm literally like, well, A, I would have to make it look like an accident. B, I would have to record a bunch of videos ahead of time of all the lessons I want my kids to have and that's how bad it was. But I could never reconcile, like, this would devastate, I can't do this to them. So 6 months into it, and when we made the Miracle Morning movie, one of the experts in the movie is Dr. Michael Bruce. He's known as the sleep doctor. Like, that's his expertise. And my brain was so out of whack, I forgot about him. I forgot that I have his cell phone number. So I'm talking to my friend Joe Polish. He runs Genius Network. And I'm telling Joe, like, I'm crying. I was literally every day, I was crying every day, crying. People would go, how's it going? And I would just break into tears. I'm like, I can't lie to you. Like, I'm a mess. And I was afraid I was going to lose all my friends because they're like, Hal used to be so fun and positive, and now he's a mess. So long story short, Joe he goes, call Michael Bruce. He's the sleep doctor. He can help you. I call Michael. Michael's like, so Michael gives me lots of advice, which supplements to take, all the things. And I email my doctor. I'm like, how long before I can get off all these drugs and all this chemo? And he says, I want you on it as long as you can tolerate it. And I emailed him back. This is May of 2020. So I'd been 6 months of this. I said, I can't tolerate it. I want to die every day. And I just told him everything going on. I said, I'm done. And so against doctor's orders, I quit 100% of pharmaceuticals cold turkey. I was taking prednisone. I was all sorts of stuff. I quit cold turkey, no chemo, no nothing. And so that's the day that I view my healing began.
Yeah.
Not the day that they said, hey, you're free of cancer, but you're going to keep taking all these pharmaceuticals and chemo. It was the day that I quit cold turkey. And I went, from now on, I rebuild my body 100% based on things that come from planet Earth and nothing made in a lab.
You have to sometimes question protocol, because here's the problem with protocol. They say the protocol is the same for everybody,
Yes.
but everybody's different. So even when I went in to give birth and they have the protocol, I'm different than someone else who just gave birth.
Yeah.
And I understand that protocol is needed in situations, but it also has to have some place to be malleable. Because if there's no place to be malleable, it's like we're not all the same.
No. And like, I've gone on some, I don't know if I'd call them rants, but I've posted on social media before about this, right? And about how my doctor said, your diet doesn't matter. And so I've been like, our medical system needs some serious work, and respect all the doctors. I believe I don't think doctors have anything but the desire to help people, right? It goes much deeper than that in terms of the education, which is funded by Big Pharma and all the things. But I've had people say, how dare you, Hal? Chemotherapy saved your life. And I said, yeah. And the fact that I did all these things that my doctors knew nothing about. If I would have only done chemotherapy, I'd be giving myself a 30% chance of being alive. So that's your point. Protocol gave you a 30% chance of living. Protocol plus building your body through nature and prayer and meditation and every possible thing that you could do, like holistically, that to me is why I'm alive today.
We know so many doctors. We have them on the show, and we talk, and we get that same kind of pushback. Whenever you question any kind of medical authority or anyone with a credential, they people get up in arms. But at the same time, we get to talk to a lot of these people off air. And I'll give you an example. Some of these people are surgeons, and something very basic. They'll say, okay, you just had a surgery. I'll use a random thing. You're not allowed to exercise or do weights or do anything for a month. Wink, wink off the air. By the way, the patients that recover the fastest typically are up on their feet. And I'm not going to say which specific surgery or which kind of thing. I'm just saying there has been, and I'm not going to, the people are going to say that's vague. Give us a specific example. I'm not going to, because I don't want to put anyone on blast. But it's funny because what these guys will is like, they cannot go and say that to every patient for insurance reasons, for liability reasons. Like they can't take on that liability in many cases for their practice. But wink, wink off to the side between friends, the recoveries we've seen the best are counter to what the protocol is.
Same with
and
like
I'm not saying that for everything. I'm just saying there's instances of that. So you really, what I've learned talking to medical experts, having people that have had medical issues, our own experiences, is you take that information, but then you really got to go and have a lot of other conversations, get a lot of other opinions, do your own research, and do what's best for you. And most importantly, you have to advocate for yourself.
I have been learning, and this is so crazy, about the frequencies in fabrics. So there's frequencies in fabrics, and one that has really good frequency is silk. So Michael and I recently switched out the sheets in our bedroom to silk. My kids are obsessed. I love silk pillowcases. You guys know this. And the brand that we got is called Cozy Earth. I also picked up their gray cashmere blanket for my bed, and it is amazing. And cashmere has good frequency too. So if you're looking to really upgrade your sheets, your blankets, your fabrics that are around your body for 8 to 9 hours a night, then you should check out their site. So the ones that I would check out is, yes, their silk sheets, but I would also, this is like my next thing, is to try their bamboo sheets, and it's temperature regulating sheets. Basically what they do is they naturally wick away the heat and moisture from your body, which helps you sleep several degrees colder, which is really good for you. They have like a bubble cuddle blanket, and this has got a lot of comfort and style. Everything on their site is just really, really beautiful. And I really like the fabrics that they use. My dogs love them. My kids love them. They even have a 100-night sleep trial, so you can try them out. If you don't love them, return them. 10-year warranty, all the things. Head to cozyearth.com and use my code SKINNY for up to 40% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, make sure you let them know you heard about Cozy Earth right here. Because your bed should be more than a place to sleep. It should be your happy place. Cozy Earth makes that possible. All right, let's talk about formula. So Bobby, it's not just another formula, it's a movement. This is a really, really cool company. It's the world's first USDA organic whole milk infant formula, and it's manufactured right here in the United States. So I had the opportunity of interviewing the founder of Bobby, and that industry is just wild. You really have to do your research. Bobby is clean label certified, and it's trusted by 500,000 parents nationwide. I personally think that when you are picking a formula, it's important to look into it. This formula has had 3 years of research. It has had testing, retesting, and it's led by a mom who really, really cares. So if you're looking for a brand that's by a mom who wanted something better for her babies and yours, you got to check this out. Their ingredients meet the strictest organic standards in the world. Everyone is talking about this company too behind the scenes. Like I hear about it from everyone. I personally like that their manufacturing facility is in Ohio. You know where it's coming from. And it's really a premium recipe. If you're looking for a formula, you have to check out Bobby. They really support the whole feeding journey. They even have DHA to support brain development, which is crucial in the first year of life. And they gave you a code exclusively for our Him and Her listeners. Bobby is offering an additional 10% off on your purchase with code SKINNY. Visit hibobby.com for more details. That's HIBOBBIE.com. How is my skin? You know what? This sunscreen, it's caffeinated, it's mineral, and it does not pile under makeup. I applied it today with a damp beauty blender before I got my glam done, and it lays so nicely under like a foundation or a concealer. But here's the thing that I like the most about it. So when I'm off work and when I don't have to do podcasts or Instagrams or content, or I just can just be comfortable, I can wear this caffeinated sunscreen and I still get a really nice tint and a protection, and it looks like my skin is all one even tone, which is nice, without all the makeup. It's not like a foundation. It's like the caffeine tightens your skin. It gives you a nice even tone, and it just gives you a little bit of color. So what I like about this sunscreen is the versatility. So you can wear it when you're off and you're running around and you're running errands and wear it with nothing over it, or you can wear it like I'm wearing today right now with foundation and concealer over it. So it works both ways. I will wear this when I'm going to the gym in the morning and just wear it throughout the day with nothing else, or I will wear it with a full look. I created this sunscreen because I couldn't find a mineral-based sunscreen with caffeine in it. Caffeine tightens the skin, it shrinks the pores, and I just like how it lays on the skin. And I mixed it with a mineral sunscreen, and then we made it SPF 40. So it's a real treat. I think that you guys will absolutely love it. It just comes out in a pump, fits in your handbag, and it can go through the airport. You can shop this at shopskinnyconfidential.com, and it's the caffeinated SPF. Also, if you're like me and you go through sunscreen quickly, you can subscribe, and the sunscreen will get delivered straight to your door, so you don't have to worry about it. That's shopskinnyconfidential.com. So after all of this happened to you and you stopped everything, what happened?
I started getting better, and I started sleeping again. And I was on prednisone, which, there were many side effects of the drugs I was taking was causes issues with sleep, and I started getting back, and it's still a process. It's been 5 years since I stopped all the pharmaceuticals, and the residue, I guess you could say, of like that dark time. And I've talked to, I don't know if it was a therapist or who it was that talked about how once you've been in that dark of a place where the adversity we're going through, like you were contemplating ending your life, they talk about how hard it is to not go, like a stressor will immediately, right? There's neural pathways that essentially were burned into my brain, carved into my brain during those 6 months. And so it's still, like mental health and all of that is still something that I'm always like working on. And I think for many people it is, right? Like it's not like you get to a place where you're like, nothing affects me. It's like, and that's why to me, my miracle morning is so important. It's like, it's almost like a reset button every day. Like every day I get to wake up and be like, all right, I'm going to read my affirmations that remind me what I'm committed to as a husband, as a father, as a CEO, as an author, as a human, what I'm committed to for optimal mental health and physical health. And right. And then looking at why is this a must for me and which actions will I take today? And so it's like every day, starting my day with that practice, with the miracle morning, allows me to show up each day at my best.
So let's talk about this new version of the Miracle Morning. I'm sure many of this audience have read the book, many seen the documentary, but for those that haven't and you were giving the run, like what can they expect out of this? What are you hoping that they get?
Yeah, so two ways that I'll answer that. One is the Miracle Morning can be just a general morning practice where you get up and you do your savers, and you could do them in as little as 6 minutes, by the way. I mean, there's a chapter in the new book called the 6-minute Miracle Morning. It doesn't have to take an hour. Most people do 30 to 60 minutes, depending on your schedule. So you wake up and you spend 5 minutes in silence and you calm your nervous system and lower your cortisol, and maybe you pray and like, now, okay, I'm really centered for the day. Then you pull out your affirmations. And for me, I have affirmations for each area of my life that matters. I've got affirmations for my business and for my family and, my health. And I'm reading my affirmations. And so now those are reminding you, oh yeah, these are the things I'm committed to today. And here's why they're important to me. And the third step, which I didn't cover, which is which actions will you take to ensure that you are moving forward toward the outcome that you say you're committed to. So that formula, right, in each area of your life, you're like, all right, I know the most important areas of my life every single day. And I'm reminded every day by reading these Miracle Morning affirmations, this is what I'm committed to, this is why, and this is what I need to do. So you have total clarity on what you want and why and what you're going to do to get there. Then the visualization piece is I call it mental rehearsal, where you mentally rehearse yourself doing the thing today that will get you where you want to go. So when I was training I ran an ultra marathon because I hated running, and I thought, man, if I could do that, I could do anything. So I would visualize every morning getting up, getting dressed in my running clothes, heading out the front door and going on a run. And while I was at the front door, I would imagine myself reciting the affirmations one more time that I had just read. I'm committed to running 52 consecutive miles on October 29th, 2009. No matter what, there is no other option. This is a must for me because doing so will enable me to overcome all of my limiting beliefs that think I can't be a runner, and I will be able to do anything I ever decide to do. And so to do this, I will follow the training plan in the book I'm reading, The Non-Runner's Marathon Trainer. Right, so you see, I literally I'm bringing in the reading, I'm bringing in the affirmations, I'm visualizing the thing I'm doing. And then I would mentally rehearse going for that run in a peak state. And then what would happen in real time, you can apply this to any goal in your life. The alarm would go off my phone when it was time to go for the run, just like I had visualized. I didn't procrastinate on going for the run, which would be human nature, like, I'll do it tomorrow, because that's not what I visualized and mentally rehearsed and put myself in the state of doing. So almost like a robot in the most positive sense of the word, I would go, oh, time to run. I would turn off the alarm, get up just like I visualized, go in my closet, get dressed in my running clothes, head out the front door, open the front door. And when I did that and I saw the sidewalk, immediately my affirmations flooded back into my consciousness, and I would say them out loud as I looked at the pavement in real time. And then I would go on that run. And then the E in Savers is for exercise. And this is not going to the gym in the morning. It's literally as little as 60 seconds of jumping jacks. It's the idea that when you move your body in the morning, you wake up your nervous system, you get blood and oxygen to your brain, so you think clearer, you have more energy, more motivation. So just a little bit of exercise in the morning. And right now I do about 5 minutes of morning exercise. It's stretching, plank, downward dog, and jumping jacks. That's what I do. And then I do work out, but I work out after the kids go to school. So that's like separate from the Miracle Morning. The R in Savers is reading, right? So I have one self-imposed rule. I'm an entrepreneur like y'all, and I naturally gravitate toward like the business book that you're reading that has the new strategies that you want to implement. My self-imposed rules, I'm not allowed to read a business book until I've read a book on marriage or parenting, a family book. I got to read that first.
Love that rule.
Yeah, and it reminds me that that's my priority by physically grabbing that book first. And I learn something every day that I get to apply throughout the day.
If I don't wake up tomorrow and you're not reading a book on marriage,
I got a rule. I read 3 business books, and that enables me to then read a science fiction book.
No. What's the marriage book that he's going to order on Amazon?
No, I'm open. I like to read all sorts of different things.
Yeah, you can't wait to read it.
But if you got some good ones, I'll take them.
What is it called? It's been one of my favorites, but it's like the 7. It's
the seven principles of marriage.
There you go.
I already bought it for you. It's in our drawer.
Okay. Well,
You already have it, yeah?
Yep, I already have
the
it.
funny thing is, I just spent in one of the episodes I did the solo. I do this like weird reading challenge where, and I got to print it. I don't know where I found it.
Camille Stiles.
No, I don't know if it was from her.
Yeah, you did. It was from her website.
Was it from
I
Camille?
love how he says he doesn't know where he found something when I sent it
It's
to
always
you.
you.
Oh, you gave it to me.
And literally
Okay,
sent it to you, and you've repurposed
Well,
it as
if you
your
would have
idea.
told me that like for the last like 2 months, I was like, I didn't know where I got it. but I guess
Camille Stiles'
Camille,
website.
I should have given her credit. Okay, so it's on there for people that have been asking me, but it makes you read these different kinds of books. Like for example, to be like, read one that's a Pulitzer Prize, read one the year you were born, read one that starts with a number, read one that's like whatever.
It gets you out of your comfort zone,
It makes you
essentially.
Read one about marriage.
I ended up,
yeah.
But okay, I'll read it. Okay, we got some rapid fires before you jump here.
What do you do in your miracle evening?
So there's actually, that's one of the aspects of the new book is there is a new chapter called The Miracle Evening, which I've been asked for like the last 15 years or so is what's your evening routine? And I used to not have one.
Okay.
Now it's very specific. So there's an acronym SLUMBERS.
Okay.
And I won't go through all of them, but the S is for stop eating 3 to 4 hours before bed.
Oh, okay.
Now I think it's 2 to 4 hours.
I'm a snacker.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
fuck.
the thing with that is your body is now tasked with digesting food all night long. And that's when it's supposed to be repairing and also detoxifying.
Okay.
So, so stop eating before bed. And
I'm
also
going to Amakasi tonight. This is a horrible day to hear this.
No, but if you do that, then you just don't go to bed for 3 hours after.
yeah, there you go. So I eat dinner typically by 6 p.m.
Okay.
and then I go to bed at 9 p.m.
Okay.
That's like lights off. So I get about 2.5, 3 hours.
In order to do the miracle morning, do you have to be up early? Is that one of the principles?
No, not at all. So the miracle morning is how you start your day. So I have people that work the night shift, right? Nurses, doctors, whatever. They work overnight and they wake up at, noon.
Got it.
So
And they do their miracle morning from 12 to 12:30, right?
Okay, so go back to slumbers.
So slumbers. So yeah, stop eating 3 to 4 hours before bed. L is let go of stressful thoughts. So it's a conscious decision
Love.
that you actually realize when I go to bed, the only objective I have is singular focus of preparing my mind and body for restful sleep.
Love.
And so allowing myself to think through stressful thoughts doesn't work. The U, use sleep supplements as needed.
Okay.
So I use CBN and CBD oil. I use magnesium. I use valerian root, and I use a natural melatonin.
Okay.
You have to read the rest of the book for the rest of the slumbers. Yeah, there
We've
you go.
thrown a lot at you real quick. Okay, quick rapid fires. Coffee in the morning, yes or no?
Yeah, after you drink a full glass of water to rehydrate.
Okay. What about like one of your favorite books?
So actually, what comes to me, Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters is one of my favorite
Well,
books.
that's a good one. I'll read that. See,
Ooh.
I'll read the family books.
Yeah.
I'll read
Okay.
the family books. One belief about success you've completely changed your mind on.
That anything another human being can do is evidence of what's possible for all of us.
I love that. We should write a book called Strong Husbands, Strong Wives.
Strong husbands, strong wives.
After you read Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters, see how you can adapt it.
Yeah, you should write that.
Yeah.
Okay, last
I'll be like,
and final
Big
question,
headaches,
Hal.
strong wives.
If you had to write a new miracle morning for the next generation, which I feel like you've kind of refreshed.
This is it.
I know, that's it. Did you add a ritual in here?
Add a ritual? What do you
Yeah,
mean?
is there anything you added, like an added ritual?
So there's 70 pages of new content
Wow.
in the new edition,
Okay.
including the Miracle Evening and the Miracle Life, which is the next book that I've been working on for the last 3 or 4 years. That's the last chapter in the new book, and it's essentially it's kind of everything we've talked about today. Like, how do you actually love every moment of your life, even when it's really difficult? How can you be happy when you feel unhappy? Like, how do you transform your mindset so you can handle anything that comes your way?
And map out your next day.
Thank you.
But
Map
the
out
rest
your next
is
day.
in your book. You guys have to go pick this up. This book absolutely changed my mornings years ago. I remember being in San Diego. How long ago was that? I was in San Diego when I read your book.
Hal and I were talking before you
It
got
used
here.
to
and I
be
said
blue, right?
It had to be.
Yeah. I
It had
remember.
to be around between 2012 and 14 for sure.
Yeah, I remember reading your
It had a
book.
white. Was it partly
No,
white?
it was a
sunlight.
silhouette. It was a guy with his arms open
Yep.
with the sunrise
Yeah.
behind him. Yeah.
I almost want to say, hold on, please pause everyone, that I wrote about it on the blog 7 years ago. But
Did
let
you
me
really?
just see. Hold on.
I love
It's
it.
going to look real bad if you didn't. We're going to have to cut the
I-
whole section out.
On the blog 7 years
Yep,
ago.
it's on my book club.
Is it really?
Yep, it's on my book club from The Miracle Morning.
There it is.
Wait, are you going to do the new update? Now I'm holding your feet to fire. The new updated edition on your blog?
This is
Now we did a whole episode, Hal. Isn't that enough for you, man?
Hold on.
But
This is from
for sure.
2016.
Wow.
That's when I read your book.
What month? What month? Does it say?
It says August.
Oh, wow.
2016.
I was diagnosed with cancer October 2016. That's why that stood out for me.
Wow.
Well,
I posted about your book
That's so wild.
that long ago with this. I remember I was like, oh my God, I would love to interview him for the blog.
Get out of here.
And now
It
you're
took
here
you
on the
long
show.
So check it out, guys. The Miracle Morning updated and expanded edition, not so obvious secret guarantee to transform your life before 8 a.m. Hal, you were great. That was fun.
I
Enjoyed
appreciate
it.
y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.